Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 17th of October. Reading through Daniel, we read chapter 2 today, the story of Nebuchadnezzar and his dream, a dream that troubles him. And as a result of that, he calls the wise men and he says to them, I've had this dream, tell me my dream as well as what it means. And they say, no one can do that. We can't tell you what you dreamt. Only God can do that. You've got to tell us the dream and we'll interpret it. Nebuchadnezzar, clearly a wise man, recognizes that if he tells them the dream, they can make up anything. He wants to know that they actually have the ability to interpret the dream. Therefore, they must tell him the dream as well. When they say they can't do this, he says, well, I'll have you all executed. The news gets to Daniel, who's one of the wise men, and he sends a message back saying, hold on, don't do that just yet. Let's interpret for you. And Daniel goes to the king, and the king asks him, can you tell me the dream and interpret it? And in verse 27, Daniel replied, no wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. Daniel is quite clear. This isn't something he can do. Only God can do this. There is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He and his three friends go and pray about it. God reveals to them what the dream is, and he takes it back to King Nebuchadnezzar, who is amazed and elevates him because clearly he has something different to everyone else. Clearly, he has God on his side. But just the thought that it is God in heaven who reveals mysteries, it is God who is in control. And as I was reading that, I thought, Nebuchadnezzar is a foreign king of a foreign country who has nothing to do with God. He conquered God's people and destroyed his temple and took everybody off into exile. And yet God is active there, which makes absolute sense. If God is the God of all the earth, if all the nations are in his hands and he determines the histories and he determines what happens, then he is the God in charge. He is the God who will reveal mysteries. And if anyone of any nation or nationality, wherever, wants to know anything, only God can reveal it. And God had done that to Nebuchadnezzar. He'd revealed to this Gentile, unbelieving, foreign king what was going to happen. And it might have been that he did that just because of Daniel. That's a possibility, but the text doesn't say that. And it may well be that God revealed things to all sorts of people at all sorts of times as they needed it, despite the fact that they were not his people, despite the fact that they didn't worship him, despite the fact that they would often get things completely wrong. We need to recognize that if God is the God of all the earth, he is our God. But he is also the God of everyone else. Whether they recognize it or not, he is the only God. And one day that will be made clear to everyone. In the meanwhile, as we confront issues, as we confront problems, we recognize that there is so much going on that no human being can possibly deal with, that no one will have the skill to manage it or get it right. But with Daniel we can say, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. This is the God we worship. This is the God who speaks to us in Scripture. This is the God who holds us in his hand. This is our God. We surely are blessed.